Welcome to another care guide. Today, as you saw in the title, we're going to talk about the Asian forest scorpion. But first, there are some things to consider. There are 3 things you need to check before buying these scorpions. The first is that it has been bred in captivity, of course, as always. This helps with the preservation of the species and the fight against illegal trafficking. The second is that within the exotic arthropod and arachnid hobby, which includes scorpions, there are 3 species of the same genus that are sold under the same common name of Asian forest scorpion. These are from the Heterometrus genus, and I'll list them here for you. They are Spinifer, Longimanus, and another one that I can't remember right now, but I'll leave it here for you. So don't worry, those 3 species require the same care. However, you shouldn't confuse them with emperor scorpions. And how are we going to tell the difference between these 2? Emperor scorpions have an amber or orange stinger. I'll leave a photo here for you. Meanwhile, Asian forest scorpions have a black or very dark brown stinger. That's the main visual difference I can see. There are also differences in the proportions of the pincers and the texture, but those are more subtle things that people without much experience probably won't notice. Check the stinger color so they don't sell you the wrong species and take you for a fool. But now let's get started with the care. First of all, the enclosure. We need a tank, an aquarium with a lid of at least 10 gallons. That's about 38 liters more or less. That's the minimum capacity we need. However, the second most important thing is going to be the substrate. This needs to be very deep since they love to burrow. The deeper, the better. I recommend a depth of at least 15 centimeters of substrate. What substrate can you use? I recommend a combination of peat moss with potting soil without fertilizers, chemicals, or anything like that. What other things are needed inside the enclosure? Well, heights, places where it can climb, and a shallow water bowl like these here. And that would be all. Regarding temperature and humidity, well, for humidity, I really don't like to give a percentage because I know most people don't buy hygrometers. However, the general rule is that you grab the substrate and it should be moist but not dripping. If it's too wet, bacteria will multiply, especially without cleaning, which we'll cover in the diet section. And as for temperature, it shouldn't drop below 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 70 degrees. How are you going to achieve this? By using a heating pad. If the temperature drops below this and you need to use a heating pad, don't put it under the tank, put it on the side. Why? Because these scorpions burrow to escape the heat to get away from the sun. And if they try to escape the heat and burrow, they'll run into the heating pad and they won't understand the concept of a heating pad. So they'll stay there waiting for it to cool down, but in reality, they'll be roasting alive. And that's why you put the heating pad on the side and not underneath. However, there are many parts of the world where heating pads aren't needed. I live in Mexicali, it's like 100 degrees outside, damn it, and well, it's horrible, so only during the winter would I put a heating pad on the side. If you use a heating pad because it's very cold, control it with a digital thermostat. Heat is good, but we also don't want the heating pad to overheat and burn your pet, poor thing. Before we discuss the diet, I wanted to mention that creating a bioactive setup is a good idea. Why? You can add vegetation, dried moss. You can even add springtails and isopods to help you with decomposing matter. And, well, cleanliness is also very important. If you see any dead insects that your scorpion didn't eat, it's important to remove them. Why? Because there will be a high level of humidity inside the enclosure, so bacteria can multiply more easily. So if you see that your scorpion left behind some dead remains or something like that the next day, remove it with tweezers and you'll avoid problems. And finally, let's talk about diet. You're going to feed it an insect, either crickets, dubia roaches, or superworms of the right size, a couple of times a week. You'll offer them with tweezers, not your hand. You're going to grab your tweezers, pick up the insect, and offer it to the scorpion. If it doesn't want it, well, that's fine. Just return it to where it belongs. It's that simple, a couple of times a week. Do I need calcium supplements? No. Do I need vitamin D3 supplements? Neither. You just grab the damn insect and give it to them. It's that simple. That's how amazing arthropods are. They don't need anything else. But you do have to be very careful while they're molting, shedding their exoskeleton, or to sound even fancier, while they're in the process of ecdysis. Why? Because they're going to be very fragile. They'll be very focused on shedding their skin to grow bigger and stronger. So be very careful. They're going to be very fragile and they won't care at all about eating while they're doing this. So don't feed them. Don't leave a cricket wandering freely in the enclosure because bad things can happen. The cricket could come along and take a bite, and obviously we don't want that. You have to be very careful. And also don't handle them, don't pick them up while they're in the process of ecdysis. You could grab it and boom, it could lose a leg and then it's done for. So keep that in mind and your scorpion will be the happiest arthropod in the whole world. You can feed them again after the acidosis process a couple of days after all of that is over. And what else? Oh, the life expectancy. Asian forest scorpions can live 7 or 8 years, a little more, a little less. It depends on how clueless you are and how well you feed and take care of it. And that's about it. I hope you liked the video. Sorry for the language, but that's who I am and nobody will change me. If you have any suggestions about what you want to see in the next video, leave them in the comments and I hope you liked it. Remember to subscribe. We're almost at 700,000. Nobody supports long format videos, but everyone watches the shorts. But anyway, I like to share this information for curious people who want to learn more about how to take care of their animals in depth. So I do this with a lot of love. And well, that's it. I'll see you in a few days with the third episode of the Mexican Parrot series. Goodbye.